Super progressive, what is good? We have a very special episode today because with us today is our super progressive rising star of 2024, Kabi. Now, I'm going to give Kabi an extended introduction here because I want to explain why um, I decided to name him my rising star of 2024. And I don't speak for the whole industry. This is not a DJ top 100 type thing. This is just artists that I've connected with this year that I think are a great representation of the progressive sound, the progressive scene, and the values of this community. Now, Kabi, the reason why I wanted to name you the rising star is for many reasons. First of all, let's just look at your releases. You had two releases on Bedrock this year, a release on Balance, a release on Flown, a release on Juicebox. Um, those releases speak for themselves in terms of the quality of music that you're putting out there. But I gotta say, the music that you're putting out is only part of the reason why I named you a the rising star of 2024. Since we first spoke, which was only last week, honestly, what made me feel so connected with you is your enthusiasm for this music and your respect for the values of this music. Right when we started talking during our first interview for the Futuro Remix project, I can tell that this music means the world to you. You're in your bedroom, you have your studio built out. Your life kind of revolves around this music in one way or another. But it's not only that, like, you're extremely dedicated in your productions. Another reason why I wanted to name you the Rising Star is because of your respect for the artists and the pioneers of the progressive sound. I did my research, and like when you did your release with uh, Balance, you said that your favorite Balance compilation is Danny Howe's. And what you
Yeah,
specifically liked about Danny Howe's compilation
we love Danny
was
Howells.
we love Danny Howe's. What you said you specifically liked about that compilation was how he wove different genres together. And when I think of progressive music, it's easy to think of a specific progressive sound that is in the progressive genre. But as Hernan has taught me in our interviews, really what progressive music is an approach to mixing of blending different styles of music together. And in those blends and in those mixtures, that blend of music is what makes a set progressive and the ability to go anywhere and take your audience on a journey. So the fact that you
Totally.
saw that in Danny Howe's and that was a reason why that's your favorite compilation just tells me that we share an understanding of what progressive music means to us. And then
Yeah, sure.
finally, another reason why I wanted to name you Rising Star is I think that your journey in this progressive underground scene from the year 2020 to now in 2024 can really inspire um, a lot of up and coming producers because your first release was not on Bedrock. Your first release was not on Balance. Your first release was not on Soundgarden, All Day I Dream. You eventually released on these labels, but your journey was starting on these more smaller niche labels with tracks that you were probably proud of at the time, but you kept developing your sound and you
But
kept
not at this time.
exactly though you kept improving and your focus seems to be on improving the quality of your tracks, not the focus doesn't seem to be on how can I switch my sound to fit this label and fit this label. Your focus is
Mm.
on progressing your tracks. So with all that said, I just want to congratulate you for whatever it may mean to you. It may mean
Oh,
nothing, but
thank you
you
very
are
much.
the
Yeah,
super
means a
progressive
lot.
rising star of 2024.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me in this interview and also for the award. It means a lot to be recognized like this. And yes, it's been a very interesting journey uh, to these days. And yes, for sure, it was like this, slowly, but with a good pace also. Trying to improve my music, trying to reach more people, trying to like expand what I like to do and what I like to express with my music.
Now, let's kind of work backwards because your year ended with an awesome remix on the Bedrock Futuro remix compilation.
Yeah,
And the month before that was inclusion on the last ever John Digweed live in series live in Montreal with your track Slider.
yeah,
Now,
crazy.
if we were talking at the end of 2023 and you told yourself, someone told you, hey, you're gonna have two tracks released in back-to-back months on Bedrock, what would you think about that?
uh I think it was better not to know. Otherwise, I would be like relaxed. Oh, I will have my tracks on Bedrock, So I prefer to like stay with my feet on the ground, trying to always keep working on my sound, keep working on my identity and my style in my music. Yeah, that's the best way to I think achieve uh, yeah new releases, new labels. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I think my one year before I wouldn't have believed it, but yes, it's a fact. It's happening, and I'm really proud and happy about it.
Absolutely, man. And we talked, or I spoke about your respect for the pioneers of this genre, which is very
Hmm.
clear to me and very important when I was deciding who I would like to give this award to. Um, what, what about John Digweed and what about Bedrock makes this not only probably a goal for you, but a goal for all up and coming producers in this scene to eventually release on Bedrock? Why is it so special?
Well, I don't know if if my word it's important or not. Like John is like a legend. I i can say that and everybody can say the same. But yeah, for me it's truly special because I think he's like a forward thinking DJ in some way. He uh, he's been working for years, like for decades, on this, and always trying to like give something new to the people. He's not comfortable with one style, with one gender. He always like to push forward, and yeah, express something new in his sets, in his releases, in his selections, compilations, label, etc. And that's why I think it's truly like a very very good goal, because like receiving the respect and the support of someone that is always looking for something innovative and new, and he's been interested in my music, so it's a pleasure to receive his support. And yes, it's crazy to know that I'm fitting that innovative sound or whatever, right? Yeah, and I respect him a lot because like he's been for many years, and you can like see how passionate he is. Also, he's been like in hospital not so much time ago, and he's already like touring again, playing music everywhere. And I don't know, it's crazy. It's not easy to have a touring life, a DJ life. Not everyone knows about it, but I wanna say that it's not easy to be a touring DJ, international DJ, and he's been doing it for ages, and I respect it like uh, too much. And yeah, uh, especially about this character he has about not being comfortable with only one stuff that hit the charts, you know. He always tried to put something new out there, and for me, that's really valuable.
Yeah, definitely, man. And um, so I want part of this interview is about introduce a lot of my viewers and a lot of my community. It grew up with John Digweed going to his first raves, and I want them to get to know you now because you're part of this next generation of the progressive sound that's going to be one of the talents of the many talents pushing this sound forward in the years to come. So, can you share with us kind of where you're based and how you first got exposed to the underground progressive sound and why you were first drawn to it?
Well, I'm from Buenos Aires. I live here with my family. I'm 25 years old, by the way.
Yeah, young.
uh, yeah, I started to going to festivals and parties, raves, etc. when I got 18 years old, like my your age, you know. Uh, and yeah, I think I've been influenced by this progressive sound, especially because I live here and Hernan is like a big name and a big reference for everybody here. That's why I entered through this sound and maybe not through like more commercial stuff that it would be usual maybe in another part of the world, I mean. But here electronic music has this big referent that is Hernan. So I think that's why I entered to this electronic music world uh, through this progressive sound. And then, of course, I started like uh, listening other genres, techno, tech house, minimal also. But yes, I started with progressive. I think because of the influence Hernan has here in Argentina, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And sorry, what was the other
No,
question?
no, you
Ah,
answered the
okay.
question. I just want our listeners to kind of get to know your background. Now, another question I like to ask is this is
Yeah.
you're you're a producer. So that means
hmm
that at some point you're passionate about this music. What made you the decision? How'd you come to the decision that you wanted to make more more of a contribution to this music? You
Mm,
didn't just
okay.
want to be a clubber. You didn't maybe just want to be the DJ in your friend group that was organizing parties just for your friends. How'd you make the decision to start producing?
Uh, well, actually, when I finished high school, I was kind of lost of what to do next, you know? That part of life when you start to like try stuff and see uh, uh, what is your uh, passion or what you want to do for your life. And I started studying in the university like the uh, psychology, but I did like only one semester, and I was a very good student. Actually, I was like having really good notes, 9, 10, but I wasn't happy with that reality, you know, and I wasn't imagining me like in the future only just having patience and working like in a ordinary job, you know. So I started looking for what to do. When I was a kid, I was really passionate about first when I was really young, like 9, 10 years old. I loved like musical comedy. How do you know? How do you spell? It's okay. Musical
Yeah, yeah,
comedy,
yeah.
like uh, yeah, I loved. Uh, that kind of stuff, to dance and sing, and yeah, that I love that. And then like more as a teenager, I started playing the guitar. But when I started the high school, I was playing basketball, and I quit music. I stopped playing music and focused only on sport. And then when I finished high school, I thought like, why did I stop everything with music? I loved it. So I started again, but this time playing percussion. I started with it's hard to explain in English, but there is a group called La Bomba de Tiempo here in Buenos Aires. They play like for 15 years now, every Monday, and it's like the best party you can find on Mondays here in Buenos Aires. The vibe there is like almost like a rave, like electronic music party, where people is just like dancing and enjoying the rhythm, you know. Um, so I got there at the same time I started going out to clubs and everything. And when I said to my my mom, Ma, I think I wanna try to be a DJ. She told me, I remember she told me like, why you wanna be a DJ? You can play instruments, you can do like the you don't do the like the shortcut, you know, like study. So I say, okay, let's try with percussion. And I learned there not only playing instruments because I'm not actually a percussionist, but I learned they have a sign system for improvisation. Look, here I have where I don't know. Well, I don't know if I have it here, but I have a book where all these signs are like written. So the group has like a director making signs with their hands, and the musicians like are executing what the director says, or if the director can say also like uh, make a solo and the musician makes a solo. So it's kind of a live set, you know,
Yeah,
but
this is really cool.
not with buttons, but with real musicians.
Yeah.
So you can like direct like a live improvisation with in real time with real musicians. So I learned how to uh, how to direct one improvisation like this, and it's really uh, like similar in some way to electronic music because the system is based in loops. So I ask, for example, I ask, come with me with a bass. So the musician comes with a loop, you know, the with a rhythm loop, and it's almost the same when I sit down in front of my laptop to produce music, uh, because I write something and then I start to listen to the loop over and over, and then I write another loop on top, and that's how I like build a track actually. So it's really similar the way this sign system works to the Ableton Live works, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
It sounds like
so
programming and arrangement, like live
yeah,
though.
yeah, that's exactly what I learned. And when I started like improving with that, then suddenly I found a partner in the group of that percussion group was a DJ. So I asked him, "Can you give me some classes? Can you teach me how to mix tracks?" Yes, of course. And I mean, here also like it's I mean it's not cheap to go to a DJ school or whatever. And my parents weren't not too much like happy with the idea that I was trying to be a DJ, and they didn't have too much money to pay like a DJ school, you know. So I found in this partner the possibility to learn in a more cheap way. And I started classes with him with his CDJ 850, I think, like no screen. I mean, you have the screen, but you can see the waveform, you know? So I started mixing by ear. And when I found like I was doing quite okay, I was already like mixing in a decent way. I started thinking, wait, okay, now I know how to mix, but I want to have my own tracks for playing, you know? So next year, 2019, I mean, that was 2018. And on 2019, I started production classes with a like individual private teacher. He's Bruno Caro. He made progressive tracks back in the days, and now he's more into techno. So I started classes with him in 2019. Yes, and then the next year was the pandemic. So for obvious reasons, I had to stop taking classes. But fortunately, I started connecting with some friends that were like in the same stage, starting to produce music and to DJ and everything. So I kept in touch with them through social media, WhatsApp, Instagram, and so that was like a very helpful uh, support for the pandemic, because we started like exchanging techniques and also asking for feedback, you know, like, look, I make this track, what do you think about? He also Polo was you know Polo?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, he was one of my best, of my first friends in this electronic music scene. So yes, I started chatting with him and also with Nacho, another friend. Uh, we had a group, a WhatsApp group called Ableton Rats, and there we were like the whole day with the pandemic, with the quarantine, like exchanging data, you know, exchanging tracks, also yeah, projects, yeah, and also sharing um, like our own different knowledge, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, So yeah, that was really a true help for the pandemic, because I think that year 2020 I did like I like make an step, how to say,
Yeah, you like
like
a step in improvement.
yeah, I stepped an improvement. I really like, I think that improvement in like a normal life would have been like 2, 3, 4 years, and it was only 1 year because I had the opportunity to be all the whole day producing and yes, sharing with friends this stuff, you know.
Yeah,
So that was definitely like a highlight. I know the pandemic was very sad and really also depressive for too many people, and it was like a, a problem for humanity. But for me, it helps a lot to just keep being home and keep producing, you know. And I stepped in a really like important improvement that year, I think. Uh, yes. So I take advantage about about the pandemic, you know.
yeah. And were there days and weeks maybe in a row where you're just spending every moment in Ableton at that time, just like because nothing else was going on, that you were able to just, I don't know, did it feel like it was like your entire life at one point?
Yeah, yeah, I think it was my entire life during that period. Um, I spent too much time, you know, not only producing but also like looking for new music, like new artists, labels, and also connecting with more people because everybody was like in the same, almost the same situation. We couldn't go out, we couldn't like see our friends. So I took advantage of that, like connecting with other producers, sharing my music, sharing my, trying to collaborate with other artists, you know. Yes, and I think that like it was kind of the natural flow I found uh, for keep doing this, you know, like yes, and yeah, I well, just before the pandemic, I was having my first gigs, super underground, but I was having my first like public gigs with a ticket and everything. And yeah, I think uh, also like the pandemic and the impossibility to keep playing live and everything was kind of really help. You know, it helped a lot to keep me like inside of the studio and trying to improve my music. So yeah, that's uh, my beginnings, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, and of course, then when everybody started to open and the industry came again to its like normal pace and everything. Well, I had already tracks released. I had already like these friends to who were I mean who were I can share with them, you know. Uh, so yes, these connections also help for me like to reach uh, like possibilities, opportunities. You know, like for
yeah, definitely.
example, a friend told me, "Well, I sent my track to I don't know some DJ. Oh, so you can send me his email. Yes, of course I can share or whatever. I played a new place, so a new venue. So then my friends came to see me playing, and then they know the owner of the place, you know, and that way, like building that uh,
Network.
networking, yeah,
Yeah,
that network. Uh, I think it helps a lot to like to make your place in the industry, you know, and
definitely.
also collaborating uh, in productions and also doing back to back with friends. Yeah, that I think that helps a lot and helped a lot to me, especially when everything I was telling you when everything started uh, to open again after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Um, no, I appreciate you bringing us through your journey because one of the points of this interview, as I was telling you before, is to hopefully have other up and coming producers who were maybe where you were 4 years ago be inspired. And we were talking about this a little bit before the interview started, but I want to go back to it, which is I think a lot of young producers in this progressive underground, um, everyone more or less has the same goals or the same dreams. Everyone wants to make a career out of DJing and producing. Everyone wants to one day have a release on a label like Bedrock or Balance or Beat or Soundgarden or Mango Alley or something like that.
Hmm.
Everybody wants their DJ heroes like Hernan and John Digweed and Sasha and Danny House to play out their tracks. It's very hard to reach that level and it takes a long time. So people the journey is has its ups, but it definitely also has its downs. And often producers, up and coming producers may feel that if they're not achieving their goals right away, or they feel like they're not achieving their goals right away, they may not be on track. But I look at your journey through the progressive underground and
Hmm.
across the whole way is quality labels, but I saw that you built yourself up, starting at the more smaller niche labels that are great for giving exposure to newer artists, like Balkan Connection and like Future Avenue. And then you get to those intermediate labels that are producing great music, but kind of serve as a stepping stone or a bridge, I'd say, from the smaller labels to the bigger labels, like
Hmm.
Juicebox Recordings. And then you find yourself on All Day I Dream, on Balance, on Bedrock. Now, what can you share about your journey through these different labels to up and coming producers? Because I think it can inspire a lot of people who they shouldn't view the fact that their releases that aren't getting responded to by the bigger labels. That doesn't mean that their journey is over or that they should stop. Because as we've seen with you, it's a slow but steady progression.
Yeah. To be honest, I think, I mean, I think the same. Uh, Taking the career as a progression, it's good. But at the same time, I have to be honest, I'm not too proud of every track I released, uh, because I feel like at some point I I wanted, yeah, at that time I wanted to release every track I made, you know. And sometimes it's good to like keep your music for you and keep your also your improvement, your development, like uh, privately. I mean, not fully private because it's always good to share with friends, to share with DJs, but at some point, I think it's good to have a good criteria to know if the track is good to release or not. You know, and because I found myself releasing music that I liked, but I didn't love. You know, and I think the most important thing is first, like to, as I told you before, like write music as frequent as you can. Even if you write only a 4 bar loop, just write it, you know? Uh, then the next step is finish that music, you know? So if you have the ability to finish uh, one, two, three, four tracks, then try to like not to, I mean, don't export the track and send it to the label just like that, you know? Keep them in your computer for a while, go for a walk and listen to them, play in your sets, send it to a friend for feedback. And after a month, after 2 months, after 3 months, when you feel you truly are confident with your music and you feel the world needs to listen that, then yes, start looking for a label, for a home, uh, and yeah, but I want to express this because I feel it, and I feel like at some point of my career, I was like anxious, and I finished a track. Well, I sent this to 3 labels, And I, I found myself also in some awkward situations where more than one label wanted my tracks. And for example, it happened to me with Juicebox and Guy Mansur. And Guy Mansur wanted my tracks for Plattenbank. At the same time, I sent before to Juicebox, but they had a delay responding to me. So both labels wanted my music. And then I had to explain Juicebox, like Praveen, the label manager. I'm sorry, but Guy Mansur is asking me for this track, so I'm really sorry. I hope you can understand this. So, what I want to say is, I found myself in awkward situations because of my anxiousness, you know? And it's important first to be confident with your music, first to be happy with it. And if you feel you have the desire to share that, then be like patient, send to one label, ask for the for I mean tell them you want to release the music and you want to sign in that label. Wait for the answer. If they I know lot of times they doesn't answer or they doesn't listen to the music, but just wait for any reaction, right? And if you don't have any reaction in, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months, then move forward to another label or whatever. But yes, first try to be uh, like sure you want to release that music. And then if you are happy with it, I mean, of course, we all want to have exposure and have our music in good labels because it's like it feels good and it gives you more opportunities because more people can access to that music because it's like a more massive they are a more massive like platforms. But if you feel happy with your music, for example, any label wants to release it or sign it, you also have the option to release like yourself, like with a distributor, with DistroKid or whatever. So, I mean, nowadays there are the opportunity of sharing music, like it's really accessible. You know, like it's easy. Uh, you just pay a distributor and you have your music in Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Uh, of course, if you want to sell in Beatport and you want to have a more uh, formal release, you need a label, like the platform for doing that. But if you just want to share it, I mean, you can upload it to SoundCloud. You can upload it with DistroKid to Spotify, or and you can also like sell it via Bandcamp, for example. Like you have options if you truly want to release your music. But the first step is being confident and being sure that you want to share that to the world, and being sure that like uh, it has the value to to share that, you know. um, so yes, but of course, uh, I mean, if you have the chance to release your music and you're happy with that, then just move forward. I don't get too much uh, overthinking about, oh, but it would be better to release with that label or that other label. I don't mind. Just uh, keep making music, and one day you will reach that label.
Yeah.
Uh, you know.
Well, one
Um,
thing I'm learning from you is that just because a track may not get an official release, that doesn't mean that track and that project is a failure because of everything you learned through the
no, no, of
production.
course.
Yeah, because you
If
like
we
produced that
if we
track.
go through my if we go through my computer now, you can see like thousands of projects not finished. You know,
Yeah.
and one day maybe. I start a new project and I remember, well, I have some good drums I made last month. So I take these drums and grab it to the new project,
Exactly.
you know? So it's important to don't trash the projects you are not finishing. Just keep them because one day maybe they will come out, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. For example, I made a collaboration with Four Candles. Well, actually, I made the remix, and then we are working on some collaboration tracks. And he sent me an idea. It had a really good flow on the melodic elements, the synths, and everything. But I thought I felt the drums could be better, and I remember I started digging my older projects, and I found a really good drum kit I made one day, and I grabbed it to the project, and it was perfect, you know. And the collaboration was like finished. Then I had to mix it, and of course making some adjustments of the arrangement and everything. But what I want to say is like those exercises, those practices you make every day are not useless. You know, are part of the process, and at some point you will use it or not. And if you didn't use it, then you learn how not to produce. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
or at least the way you don't want to go.
definitely.
Uh, uh, so yes. I think it's important to try to uh, write something new like every week at least, because yeah, that's the way to keep also like training your ears, training your skills, testing new plugins, new VSTs. Yeah.
Super cool. Thank you. How I'd like to conclude this interview is you had a huge 2024, super
Mhm.
progressive rising star. What
Thank you.
what can you share with us, even if it's not specifics, what can we expect from Kabi in 2025 and get excited about?
Wow. Actually, I didn't even know. I don't
Yeah.
even know. I don't even know myself, but I think uh, I would like to explore a bit uh, more open to new genders, more open, yeah, to I don't know, modern stuff. Uh, I like artists that always are putting something new out, like I said about John, you know? So don't expect from myself like another Venom track, another spicy track. Maybe of course I will have my sound because it's something like unconscious, you know, like when you write music in some way you are still you, and you will be sounding like you because it's you. But at the same time I don't want to be repetitive on music that I already show to the world, you know.
Yeah.
I want to always like try uh to show something new, but because I mean not because uh I mean, no es un capricho. I don't know how to say in English. It's not like an idea I have. It's just I want to be true to myself. And I mean, we as human beings, we evolve, we change. And I think if your music doesn't change, you're not being true to yourself. You are just repeating a pattern. It hit charts, you know. I mean, I can grab Venom drums, I can grab Venom synths and write something different but similar, and release another track on balance, almost the same. with the same sounds and everything. And everybody will notice, oh, this is a new Kabi track, and maybe they will like him. They will like it, sorry. Uh, but I prefer to keep exploring, keep trying new stuff, and because I think that way I achieve the most the best tracks, or at least the tracks I am proud of. Um and yeah, I wanna be true to my growth, true to my evolution as human being, and true to my changes. And also my changes in terms of taste. I don't like the same artist this year than last year. Uh, I don't know. I always try to also keep the the search for new inspirations, and everything. So as I told you, I respect artists who are true to themselves, and they are like showing something uh, fresh, like every time they release music. So I wanna, I wanna do what I like, what I like
Yeah,
to see in other artists.
yeah, definitely. Well, I think after, getting to know you more through this interview, what what why I'm so stoked to be giving you this award is because of your mindset. You're never going to go and do the same thing twice, and you're never gonna it
Well, I will
reminds
try at least.
yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. It reminds me though that progressive is so much more than a genre. It's an approach to your music. And really what's at the core of it is your individual progression through this music, progressing your skills, progressing your taste, and always evolving. Just like a great set does, just like a great track does, you can too replicate in your own production career. So, I just encourage you to keep going, bro. I mean, you don't need
Well,
any of
thank you
this.
very
Like
much.
you're on the
Yeah,
right
I
path.
have something in my mind I want to express
Yeah.
about the last answer, right? I think uh, each track of mine and each track of every artist, I hope, express like a chapter, a chapter, it's okay, of the life. Like, so I don't want to be in the same chapter forever. I want to continue with my story, and my music uh, speaks about me. So that's why I wanna give something fresh to your ears, because it's the way I can express like more genuinely my story and my life, you know.
Yeah, man, exactly. And I couldn't think of a better way to conclude this interview. So, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so proud
No,
to
thank
name
you
you
for
the
having me.
super progressive rising star. And one day when I come to Argentina, I cannot wait to meet you, man. We will
Yeah,
definitely
sure.
meet. And thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Well, bye, brother, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to have this award, to have this recognition, and also to have the possibility to express all this stuff. And I think somebody could be interested in knowing a bit about me. So it's good to have this opportunity to share my story.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, man.
Thank you. Bye bye.